Right, here we go.
COVID cut going on.
Right, you everybody. Welcome back to OLIN TV. We have a member of one of our favourite bands, Babyshambles. We have ADAM FICEK here. Hello, Adam. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, I'm good in sunny North London.
Yeah, well, we're in rainy Newcastle, so we're just getting through all the snow there, and we're out the back end of it now. Like, and I'm pleased.
We've had a week's worth of snow. You know, it's good to get rid of it.
Yeah, it's been pretty snowy down here.
Cool, man. Well, we'll get started.
Yep. So, Adam, here at OLIN TV, we like to take things back to the very beginning. Could you tell us a bit about yourself growing up and how you got into music?
Growing up, getting into music would have been probably through like youth subculture stuff. You know, I'd like to say something really cool, but probably my first foray into music would have been Matthew Wilder, Nobody's Gonna Break in My Stride. No, I'm just trying to it would have been some kind of pop piece. Yeah. You know, I remember listening to, like, you know, I guess what would it have been, like early 80s stuff. I think Captain Sensible, you know, Glad It's All Over.
Yeah, right.
Like, really hooky pop stuff before, and then the Michael Jackson Bad album, things like that.
I used to love that album when I was a kid, man.
Classic album.
Is it repeat all the time, Michael Jackson Bad?
Full of tunes as well, though. Full of proper tunes, proper hooks.
Great pop tunes, yeah.
Aye.
And then we get exposed to other things. I can remember going to my nan's house, and she was into a lot of 50s stuff. So a lot of Sam Cooke, Buddy Holly, and things like that. Nice. And then I think a lot of my dad's record collection, you know, you start kind of spreading out and finding it for yourself. And then it kind of coincided, I guess, with there were two things happening when I dived into music more. So there was this hip hop scene happening, based around things like De La Soul, Tribe Called Quest, and also Public Enemy. So I was really into that. I was also very aware of this house scene tentatively starting, and also the indie stuff. At that point, this was pre-Baggy, I guess. Mm-hmm. So more when indie was proper indie. You know, 80s jangly pop stuff, Smiths, like James, The Cure, these kind of things. And then it morphed into Manchester and Baggy stuff. So at that point, it was so rich. You know, you've got house music, you've got great hip hop, and you've got, you know, that classic 89 episode of Top of the Pops with the Mondays and the Roses on it. It's like, wow, it's mind blowing. So I feel really privileged to have come into a musical age when those areas in music were really rich. So I feel very lucky.
Yeah, I mean, your story there is better than Alan McGee's. Last week we had McGee on, and he went, "Oh, I went to watch Gary Glitter." So we're laughing at him. But yeah, moving on from that, obviously, you ended up in Babyshambles, and we're huge Babyshambles fans. So could you tell us a little bit more about those times and how that came about? And was it really as mad as what we all read about and see in the media? Yeah,
there's still stuff now that I remember, and then someone will remind me, God, did that really happen? And it all did, unfortunately. A lot of it I can't quite piece together. It's still like this period of a number of years with just, there's no narrative. It's just big blotches of experiences and stuff. So it's quite contained. But how I got into it was, I guess I went to college. I'd done a BTEC in music, and during Britpop time, come through that, moved to North London, and then just got involved with loads of different bands. This was as kind of the fallout of Britpop was starting to happen. There's a lot more breakbeat stuff going on. And then it crept into, again, this resurgence of Strokes, White Stripes. What's that about the Vines as well? You know, the Vines were really big. And then the Coral, I remember seeing that Coral Skeleton Key track on MTV. And then you had White Stripes. And you had... what's that guy done? United States of Whatever. Do you remember that? Liam something.
Liam Lynch. That's right.
And Electric Six and all these early incarnations of bandy stuff, which dragged us out of the breakbeat era and into more of this. I think there was a lot of soft, more calming going on. I guess Coldplay, Travis, not Elbow, the other band. I can't remember what they're called. But and then it moved back into this real kind of energetic rock and roll stuff, you know, with the Strokes, White Stripes, and then being based in East London, doing a lot of breakbeat stuff, and then I started to see loads of bands coming up, joined loads more bands, And then one of those bands was like on tour with Babyshambles. And then Babyshambles drummer wasn't in the band anymore. So I jumped into that seat. And that's how I became part of that band.
Well, you were in the the White Sport with Patrick Walden, weren't you?
Sport, yeah.
Did you both go across the Babyshambles at the same time?
Yeah. Patrick was in both, but Pete used to play bass for the White Sport.
Oh, I didn't realise that.
He was our bass player. Yeah. It was messy. So we'd just all be on tour together. I remember tours of us, like us, Paddingtons, Towers of London, White Sport, Babyshambles, any other stragglers that were going on. It was just this kind of travelling circus, really. Yeah. And next thing, he said, "Do you want to join a band? Playing Brixton Academy in a few weeks." I said, "Yeah."
Yeah. Why not?
Straight in there. I mean, that period of music. I mean, with, like you say, Shambles, the Panthers, like the early noughties, as they say, like when all those bands started coming, we loved it, didn't we? Because like, we were in bands ourselves and we were trying to emulate all you guys, and we couldn't quite do it. But it was just such a good time for music, you know. And I think that those two Babyshambles albums soundtracked a lot of years for us, didn't they? The first two.
The first one especially. Great record with that.
Good times, man. Good times.
Yeah, I always thought we were really lucky because, you know, Britpop just died and it was just on its last legs, and then this resurgence come along. And in my mind, this is what happens now. Because if you think about it, we had kind of Manchester stuff, then that died down a bit, grunge and stuff, and then it come up again with Britpop, and it died down again. Then it come up again, and then so. By about when it died out, about 2008, 9, 10, I think it was just going down. I thought it's all right, but by 2016 we'll have another, you know, and off it'll go. But hasn't really happened. So
no. You're right, yeah. I think I remember just being really excited. I think there was a NME. I'm not sure if you were involved in it, but there was an NME photo shoot outside of Buckingham Palace. I remember, and Andrew Kendall from NME. He took that, and I remember seeing it and just going like, who the fuck are these? Who the fuck? He's just like getting online and listening to them all and just being blown away by that whole like period of music, and then just all the way through.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, I wasn't in the band at that time, but I remember seeing it, and I was on the periphery of that, and it really did. It felt like, you know, the kind of the modern life is rubbish kind of stuff. It felt like it just felt you were on the kind of the crest of a wave of something happening. It was really exciting. I remember that.
Yeah, nice one, man. So your project, Roses, Kings, Castles, can you tell us a little bit about that? Why you started that, and can we expect anything new from it?
Yeah, well, I started it with touring arenas, and had a lot of downtime in these arenas. So you spend so many hours. It was quite sterile in a way, and had a lot of time. So I was just writing songs. Some of them putting them forward to the Babyshambles stuff. A couple of them got picked up for Shutters Nation, I think. But yeah, I was just writing just songs, and then I thought, well, what do I do with it? And then Parlophone offered to sign a record, so it seemed very natural. I went out, I was doing some solo stuff. It was never really a band thing, and then released that. Then done an EP, then done a second album, third album, kind of like fifth, sixth album. I don't push it that hard, you know. It's just like I really enjoy doing it. It's all on my own back, really. The last one was funded by Pledge. They're no longer with us, but yeah, I've got an EP ready to go, and I was going to try and get it out this year, so I might do, really.
Cool.
There's nothing, you know, I love playing live, and there's nothing going on, so I didn't want to just put something out in a digital world and not back it up with any dates. So I'll probably wait for later in the year.
It's been a difficult year for most artists. You don't really know what you can do, when you should do things, where you should hold off. You know, I mean, I think pretty much everyone we've spoken to on here over the past like 6 or 7 weeks have like involved in music, be like, well, we've held back and we've held back and we've held back, and some of them are just sticking stuff out now for the sake of it, you know. But yeah, nice one. I look forward to that. Some new music from yourself. Obviously, I've got you on Facebook and stuff like that, and over the past few days, we've seen that you've been posting a lot on social media of your record collection. Now, I've been keeping an eye on this, and I think it's great. I think, I need to listen to that album. I need to listen to that album, you know, because I haven't heard them for a long time. But what's your favorite album? What you've pulled out so far?
Oh, well, so far, I was going to say forever.
Well, you can answer that one afterwards if you want.
It's your favorite bit of vinyl?
I've got a lot of vinyl. Yeah, well, I used to. What was going hand in hand is when I was in bands, I was doing a lot of DJing as well. but we're doing a lot. So I'd do 3 different nights. One would be more indie, one would be more house, and one would be more 60s stuff. So the 60s stuff was pure vinyl. I've got a lot of 7 inches. I've got a lot of kind of rare soul and stuff. So yeah, I guess there's a lot of vinyl kicking about. But favourite, what I've posted so far, I'm just looking at what I posted. Yeah, you know, because I'd forgotten about that Silver Bullet 12-inch. Have you heard of Silver Bullet?
No, I haven't. Yeah,
it was maybe a niche thing. Like basically, I grew up in Buckinghamshire, so maybe it was a niche thing there. But it was a similar time as De La Soul and stuff were kicking off, quite localized. You know what? Out of what I've posted so far, I'd say the favorite album would be De La Soul, 3 Feet High and Rising.
Yeah.
Out of what I've posted so far, I'd go with that.
It's a classic, isn't it? It's revered. People love it.
Yeah, and it went hand in hand with all the baggy stuff as well. You know, the samples and stuff. That's what got me into funk, because I listened to that and I thought, wow, that's a great bass line, a great guitar line. And then I'd go and source the originals, and DJing 10 years later in like mod clubs, you'd be, wow, there's that riff that they've nicked. And of course, it didn't get any clearance, so it's not on Spotify or anything. But that album, that soundtracked a lot of my good times, I think, growing up.
Yeah. And what's your favorite album of all time then?
I mean, I always go back to like the first Stone Roses album, really, because it's so crucial, and it's one of those albums that it stood the test of time. It's one of those albums that I think, for me, I remember how I had 3 cassettes and I'd kind of bowl around listening to them. It was the Charlatans' first album, then Spiral Carpets, and then Stone Roses, and then I got the Lars, and then I got Soup Dragons as well. So I had 5 cassettes. But that, you know, just the intro of Adored and stuff when it sneaks in, and I think of a certain generation, you learn every single little nuance, every note, every sound, you know. And I can remember there were certain songs I'd fast forward. Always Elizabeth, My Dear, I'd just kind of forward that a bit, because then Sugar Spun Sister would come popping on after that, and I know that track listing, you know. So I'd go for that. I mean, I know it's cliched and everyone kind of says that, but for me, pre the Britpop thing, because the Britpop era then had a host of different favourite albums, but that's such a timeless album. There's something so timeless about it. So I'd go with that, really. And, you know, it's nothing, it's not left field, it's not out there, but for me, it really is something I can return to.
Yeah.
Hi, mate. What you listening to at the moment? Is there anybody we should be listening to?
Yeah, I'm not really down there with the new stuff. There's is it
Nero?
I should do it. And there were some bands that actually I have been listening to. I can't remember what they were called. Is it the Snuts? I've got this wrong.
Oh,
They've been mentioned before on our podcast for the new music. I think a promoter.
They're doing well.
Russ from Manchester. He mentioned it.
It's just nice to see. You know, it's nice to see that. I think, you know, music technology and all that stuff's great, but, you know, the yearning of getting out there and the blood and the sweat and, you know, all that stuff of live grit and guitar stuff that, for me, it's a different energy that you can't capture as a producer, or if you're into music production. It's not the same, you know.
Well, me in particular, I didn't think that I was going to miss live music as much as what I have. I can't wait to get out of the back end of this and get out and see some live music and just go and see as much as we can, because we made a little New Year's resolution last year to go out and watch like loads of little punk bands and stuff like that.
Loads of small bands.
Yeah. And we went to watch Fontaine's DC when they were small, and a band called Shame, and a few other ones, didn't we? And then obviously when COVID hit, it stopped it all for us. And it was looking to be like an exciting new little music scene coming up, wasn't it? All these like little punk bands popping up everywhere.
Yeah. I did spot that. There was a real alternative sense.
Yeah.
It was kind of, it reminded me a lot about the real indie stuff again, even probably before the Manchester thing. These bands that weren't in it to kind of get the big stuff. It was real. It felt really pure, actually. And I felt it was like an actual reaction against what was going on in the charts and the very glossy, produced, clean stuff. And, you know, we're not in a glossy, produced time of life. We're not anywhere as human beings. So I always felt, where is that being represented in these days? And similar to you, I just got through a big bulk of my study, and I thought, right, this year now, so what were we in, 21? 220, right, was going to be my year. So maybe, right, I'm going to get out to just see more gigs. And I made a conscious decision, because the previous few years had just been manic. and it was it. And it was going to be my year. And then the whole thing just imploded, and then everything shuts down. So I feel the same way. I'm yearning. I'm desperate to go out.
Yeah.
And just, I can't wait. You know, really can't. Anyone, I don't care. Covers band, they'll do.
Yeah,
anything
they'll do at the minute. Yeah, I mean, this moves us on to our last question. Really, it's just, I know I've already touched it, but like, how have you coped throughout COVID-19, the pandemic, like creatively? Have you had time to write more music? I mean, I know you mentioned it, but has it been an easy process for you, being in the house and just being able to write music as much as you can?
No, it's not been easy at all. I've really struggled myself, and I mean, as a musician, it's really hard because I find that some of my mind is racing ever so slightly. It's like the car never sits still.
Yeah.
And I work with a lot of people as well, and you know, the basis of this is all of our own struggles, but then we're all in this foundation of a pandemic, and I work now solely with musicians, and every single person's been hit hard. So I found it a lot harder to focus. I find it really hard to focus. It can take me a few hours, and even watching TV, I'm jittering. It's almost like I used to be on tour. When we'd come back from tour for a few weeks, it's really hard to sit down and focus. And I definitely find myself now, it's really hard to stop. And then juggling at home, you know, with my wife and kids, and everything's going on. It's just mayhem, really. So I've got a nice space down here that I come and I work from with clients that I work with, and there's a separate area for music, but I find it really difficult to get going. I really do find it hard to get going. It's like life's just moving fast at the minute.
It's just a shame, isn't it? I mean, we would have hoped that we would have been out of this by now, but I suppose everyone's just got to dig in deep, don't they, and do what they can. I mean, that's the reason why we started this podcast. You know, we were doing a lot of online DJing, raising money for charity, and I think that online DJing and stuff like that kind of like spent.
Only so much you can do, you know.
So much you can do. So this is like a new incarnation of what we do now, and this is just really just to keep us occupied and to keep us going as well. You know,
it's connection. That's why I started posting stuff.
Exactly.
I've you know, there's a real level of loneliness. And it's like I'm not getting any connection. We do, but it's not the same. And I think that's why I started reposting again. It's like, hello, and that it's been really useful. I'm not a big fan of social media, but you know, it has its uses, I guess. Really,
we're social creatures, though, aren't we? You know, and that was all taken away from us. You know,
I know.
So we've had to replicate it the best we can.
No, getting just some of those needs met because we're not getting anywhere else.
Well, nice one, Adam. One final question for you. I'd just like to ask you, what are your Glastonbury experiences? Is there a stand-up? And I know you've been there before, and you've played there before. So tell me a little bit about Glastonbury, and if you enjoy it, or any mad stories about Glastonbury.
To be honest, I like to get in and out. For me, it's just too much. I mean, you know, I used to try and get in and then try and get out as soon as I could, because for me, it was just overwhelming. Some of the bands I wanted to see, I could never really enjoy them because it took me ages to go from A to B. And every time we played there, it was always washed out. I remember getting off the tour bus for the first time and just watching tents go by, you know, and then and people crying. And I think, God, this is hell. And I'm not really a festival person, to be honest. So I try and get in and out. Even when I've played solo stuff, it's like, I need a bit of peace and quiet. It's just full on. If not, it goes the other way, and it's just chaos. And you know, I've done too much of something, and it's just mayhem. So I try and keep calm.
Right. Well, nice one.
Nice one.
Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Really, really appreciate it. And I'll send you the links and stuff for when this is going out, and if you want to watch it all back and stuff. But appreciate it, man.
Nice one. Thanks for your time.
Okay, guys.
Nice one.
Take care.
Nice to talk to you.
Take care, mate.
Take care, man. Bye-bye.
Looking forward to that new material, mate.
Yeah, can't wait.
Well, I'll keep you in the loop.
Nice one. Thank you very much.
Cheers, man.
See you later.
Take care. Bye-bye.